I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire? I'm a millionaire? I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit. TurboTax Live.
Hey, join us.
Happening now.
As cases go up in the city's biggest surge yet of the pandemic, local officials advising you to take precautions. We bring you the latest coming up.
A new Texas election law is causing some confusion for those who are trying to mail in applications for mail-in ballots. We'll break down those changes and help you clear up that confusion.
We're headed into the weekend. I'll be back to let you know what temperatures are going to be like and a look at some promising rain chances. I'll see you in a bit. The News at 5 starts right now.
Now, first at 5, we begin with the latest concerning COVID-19 numbers in Bexar County.
Yeah, Metro Health reporting 5,307 new cases today. Another 16 people died. The 7-day moving average, 6,186. It's also reporting 1,257 COVID patients in the hospital tonight. 260 people in the intensive care units. 115 are on ventilators. Those numbers are why local leaders are urging people to take precautions amid this latest surge.
Our Garrett Berger is live at the Alamo Dome because that's where the mayor, county judge, and health officials just spoke about COVID-19. Garrett, what did they have to say about it?
Well, the mayor warned that if things continue on this trajectory, the city's going to be looking at a critical risk level, the highest on the scale that it uses. He and other local officials urging those who feel sick to get tested. And if you haven't gotten your vaccines or your booster, to go out and do so if you're eligible. Both tests and vaccines are available at the Alamo Dome, where he and officials spoke today. Now, compared to the 3 other surges we've seen through the pandemic, cases have spiked much harder this time around than any time before. Now, there are currently 1,257 people in local hospitals with COVID, a number that includes people both put there because of the illness and those who happen to be in there for something else and tested positive. Now, while this surge appears to be sending a smaller portion of the overall cases to the hospital, the sheer volume of the cases we're seeing means there's still plenty of people going.
If you have a bunch of people, even though less people in the population would go to the hospital, if you have a bunch of people sick, there's going to be a lot of people going to the hospital as well, right? It's a math equation here at some point. So the numbers, the surge numbers, oddly enough, look very similar in counts.
Officials acknowledge there is a backlog right now with testing, and we're seeing some delays at the free sites, sometimes taking a couple days between your swab and the time you get the results. Now, Metro Health again warned about possible fake testing sites here in Bexar County, though they did not identify any even when we asked. Now, if you want to make sure your testing site is legit, you can make sure to check out the city's website. They say all of the free sites listed on there have been checked out and are legitimate, so you can feel safe with those. Some of them, though, like the one here at the Alamo Dome, will require an appointment. Live at the Alamo Dome, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Garrett. Now, if you have not received your booster shot yet, maybe 3 new studies from the CDC will give you the extra push to roll up your sleeve. Researchers looking into millions of COVID cases across the U.S., and they found if you were boosted, if you got that 3rd shot, you were 90% more likely to avoid a trip to the hospital during the recent surge. 2 shots, 57% effective when it had been at least 6 months past the 2nd shot. 2 doses of an mRNA vaccine without a booster gave people a 38% chance of avoiding the ER or urgent care. But if you add in a booster, it jumped to 82%.
I know people are sick and tired of hearing about COVID, but if getting the booster dose is what allows everybody to move on with their lives, I think those who are vaccinated are ready to hear that message.
Now, all 3 studies found the unvaccinated, which is roughly 20% of all eligible Americans, face the highest risks of becoming sick.
That's really important because starting tomorrow, anybody crossing the U.S. border who's not a U.S. citizen will need to be fully vaccinated. That's according to Homeland Security. DHS also says that people are going to need to show proof that they've been vaccinated. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says that the updated travel requirements are aimed at protecting public health. So here's the thing, though. Right now, you don't need a booster or a 3rd shot to be considered fully vaccinated, but wait for that because that's something that health experts want to change.
It became controversial, especially after the 2020 presidential election. We're talking about voting by mail.
So we know that Texas has a new election law, but some people are confused by how it's changed the registration process. In Bexar County, more than 300 applications have been rejected because of errors.
Yeah, Erica Hernandez explains the main changes under Senate Bill 1 when it comes to mail or absentee voting.
It's a learning curve because the forms have changed.
This is that new form or application for a mail-in ballot. Now, the biggest change is you will now have to write down your Texas driver's license number or the last 4 digits of your social security number, and it has to be written in this box on the top of the form.
Some of those people did not give us those numbers because it wasn't required when they registered to vote years ago. So if they send in their application and we don't have a number to match it to, then we have to reject it.
Other main changes under SB 1, an application must be submitted in writing and signed in ink. Electronic signatures, photocopied signatures, or signatures in pencil are not allowed. And election officials may not distribute mail-in ballots or an application for a mail-in ballot to anyone who did not submit a request for an application.
I don't want to say it's doubling the work, but it's absolutely increasing the phone calls then.
The confusion is why it's recommended you mail in those applications now before the February 18th deadline to clear up any discrepancies that may come up.
But once our voters get that information to us, they are assured that they'll get a ballot for every election in this calendar year.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
So now if you want to look at the full ballots for March primaries, we have both the Democratic Party ballot and the Republican Party ballot available for you on KSAT.com. You can also go there to find the most up-to-date coverage on the 2022 elections. Just click on the Vote 22 section that's under the News tab. And by the way, you have until January 31st to register to vote.
New at 5 on this Friday, a parent alert about some popular baby products, cushy pillow-like loungers for infants. Safety regulators are now warning mothers and fathers don't use them. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz shows us which ones and why.
A warning tonight for parents of newborns about these infant loungers, the Leachco Podster, Podster Plush, Bumsy, and Podster Playtime. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says stop using them because they're a suffocation hazard. The warning comes after the deaths of a 4-month-old boy and a 17-day-old infant. The CPSC asked Leachco for a recall, which the company rejected, instead saying its products are safe when used as directed. Leachco has always had clear warnings on the product and its packaging not to place it in a bed or crib or use it for unsupervised sleep, the company states on its website. The government warning comes months after Boppy recalled more than 3 million infant loungers as they were linked to 8 reported deaths. Safety advocates have been warning parents never let infants sleep on lounging pads or nursing pillows.
Babies can easily roll over into the soft pillow-like fabric, and this blocks their airways and they aren't able to move their bodies and turn over and they suffocate.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says babies should sleep on their back on a firm, flat surface. Also, more than 300,000 pacifiers are recalled. Mushy & Company of Houston is recalling its Frigg silicone pacifiers after hundreds of reports of the nipple detaching. It's a choking danger. The company is giving refunds. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
In other news, relief this afternoon as police solve an Amber Alert. So you probably got an alert on your phone last night. It was about 14-year-old Hillary Salcedo from Austin. This morning, police found her in Buda, so that Amber Alert is discontinued. Police arrested the man that they think abducted her, and now 28-year-old Hector Avila is in custody.
Another family needs your help, though. Take a look at this picture. This is 15-year-old Karina Bianca Flores. San Antonio police want you to be on the lookout for her. She was last seen Tuesday in the 9700 block of Broad Ripple. Now, here's a better idea of exactly where Broad Ripple is. It's on the north side near Callahan Road and Vance Jackson. Flores last seen wearing a black sweater and blue jeans. She's about 4 feet 11 inches tall, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information, call SAPD's Missing Persons Unit 210-207-7660. A silver alert has also been activated, and it is for this man, Petty Reynolds Jr. San Antonio police say he is diagnosed with a cognitive impairment. He was last seen yesterday in the 2700 block of Westover Circle. That's near Calabar Road and Westover Hills Boulevard.
Yeah, he drives a gray Ford Escape. The Texas license plate is on your screen. It reads LXT 8938. Now, we want to show you his picture once more. If you've seen him or you know where he is, call SAPD. That number is on your screen. It's 210-207-7660. Now, one suspect is in custody nearly a week after a man was shot and killed. 48-year-old Deborah Guerra is one of the suspects in this case. Police think that she was involved in the death of 34-year-old Aldo Uribe. His body was found Saturday morning in a field just off of Nacogdoches Road near O'Connor Road on the northeast side. That was after someone called 911 saying that shots were fired in that area and that two people got into a white Ford F-150 truck and then left the area. At this point, investigators aren't sure whether it was Guerra who pulled the trigger, but they do believe that she was involved. Now, switching gears here, a lot of you have called us reporting plumes of smoke coming from Joint Base San Antonio Camp Bullis. Well, this is what we're talking about. We're showing you this here. It's from Sky 12 flying over a prescribed burn there. That's scheduled to go on for the next 5 days because they're burning more than 1,700 acres.
Yeah, people living near the northwest portion of JBSA Camp Bullis, including those in the Dominion and Fair Oaks Ranch area, will likely see and may smell smoke while that burn progresses. The burn is intended to reduce fuel loads like dead vegetation, thick brush, which will lessen the risk of future potentially catastrophic wildfires. And maybe this is an ounce of prevention, just how dry it is out there right now in San Antonio and all of South Texas.
Yeah, and the latest drought monitor, of course, it's in. I'm going to share that with you coming up after the break and show you where we have the worst drought, even just within our area. Nothing but sunshine out there today. No chance of rain over the next couple of days, but there is a good shot later on in the forecast. We started the day at 32, topped out at 53 for the high temperature. 53 right now, Eagle Pass, and in West Kerrville, 49 in Seguin. For the most part, we're right around 50, give or take a degree or two. And as we go through the evening, have a jacket ready to go, because if you're venturing outside, the chill's going to creep up on you pretty quickly. By 8 o'clock, mid-40s, 10 o'clock, we dip into the upper 30s. We'll talk more about the weekend and below average temperatures along with that next shot of rain. Coming up, Steve.
Thank you, Adam. A bad wake-up call for one driver who fell asleep at the wheel, where he crashed, and what the business is having to do as a result.
Plus, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of drugs have been taken off San Antonio streets. We're going to tell you where the sheriff's office arrested two people and what else they found. That's coming up.
The need for substitute teachers has never been greater. The fast spread of the Omicron variant has forced schools to get creative as they deal with staff shortages. Coming up today at 6, we're showing you what you can do to fill that gap, even if you have no teaching experience.
So whether it's subbing or coming and sitting with a class or helping at lunch, there's places you can help.
We're introducing you to this mother of 4 who is now a first grade sub, what she wants you to know about the need in local schools right now. Plus, more than 375,000 people face food insecurity in South Texas alone. But one local group wants to lessen that. They've teamed up with the San Antonio Food Bank to make sure San Antonio families are fed. We're going to talk about how much food they collected and where they distributed it tonight at 6.
Now take a look at everything that you're about to see on your screen. We're talking money, we're talking weapons and drugs and a lot more. It's what the Bexar County Sheriff's Office found inside a home on the city's east side. So specifically, this is the 500 block of Porter Street near South New Braunfels, a neighborhood that Sheriff Javier Salazar has described as being nice and quiet. He says that deputies were executing a search warrant this morning when they found 4 kilos of heroin, another 2 of cocaine. And that's a lot of stuff because these drugs are worth $400,000 on the street. They also found another 40 grand in cash.
Of course, we're going to be seizing several vehicles and some items of value from the residents as well that we believe were purchased with drug proceeds. Additionally, we've got several weapons, pretty high quality weapons that we're seizing from the location as well.
Deputies arrested 2 people. The sheriff says that both of them have a criminal history.
He fell asleep behind the wheel, crashed in Castle Hills. Castle Hills police actually tell us the driver, a U.S. Postal Service employee, is expected to be okay. They say he managed to pull himself out of the truck after officers found him trapped inside it. His injuries were minor, but the building he hit, the Direct Med Clinic near Loop 410 in Blanco, yeah, not so much. One of the main areas used for meetings, more was damaged. Dr. Roger Masagimba says thankfully none of his staff was hurt, and they all had taken their laptops with them to work from home because of the weather. So they're going to help patients virtually now.
All right, now we're going to step outside. 516 right now, getting a live look over 410 near the airport, where things just look so much better than yesterday, Steve. 51 degrees right now.
I think it's the sunshine.
Yeah.
I mean, it just changed the mentality of everything on this Friday, Adam.
Sure.
Yeah, the sunshine, it's a very psychological factor of the weather, and it definitely just boosts your mood, especially after a cloudy, gray day. And it also boosted the temperatures a little bit as well. Below freezing, though, tonight. Then low to mid 50s for high temperatures over the weekend. And we do have a good chance of rain in the forecast. This is what I like to see. So we're going to start with that. Let's take a look at the big picture and what's happening. We had the low clouds early this morning. They cleared out nicely, and then we had a good amount of sunshine, greeted with blue skies during the afternoon. And you look across the state, very quiet weather, but we're not focusing there. We're going to look up into the Four Corners region. We're talking Colorado and even down into parts of Arizona. You see the precipitation that's been falling here around Denver and along the Front Range, even stretching into northern Arizona. That's our next disturbance that's headed our way. See this big dip in the upper level flow near Las Vegas? That's going to push our way and provide some good rainmaking energy and lift as we get into early Monday morning. So here's our futurecast. If you want sunshine this weekend, I think Saturday is your best day. We'll still have some increasing clouds throughout the day, but Sunday just looks gray. A gray day on Sunday. May look like it's going to rain, but we're not going to get any moisture out of the clouds. Just low overcast. But then we get into early Monday morning, and we're going to get that energy from that system that's currently over the Four Corners. And that energy is likely to kickstart some showers and even a few moderate areas of rain throughout the Monday morning commute, and even lingering into the afternoon as you go east of San Antonio. Now, I do think on Monday, the highest accumulations will be east of I-35 and east of 281 even. So we're talking the coastal plain, I-10 closer to Houston, where they could have close to an inch of rain. And the least amount will be right along the Rio Grande. If I were to give it a number right now, it's anywhere between a quarter and half an inch possible in and around Bexar County and surrounding counties. We could use everything we could get. I mean, this isn't going to be a drought denting or drought busting rainfall, but it's better than nothing. Newest drought monitor indicates the extreme drought. We're talking Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, Tilden, Fowlerton, all the way over to Three Rivers. And across the state, 70% of Texas is considered in drought. So we'll take what we can get. If we're lucky, we could squeeze out a half an inch here and there around San Antonio as we get into Monday. Right now, sunny, 51, dew point is 16. And actually earlier today, these dew points were down in the single digits, which is pretty much as dry as it gets around here in San Antonio. And dew points have come up a little bit, but still very dry air in place relative to what we're used to around here. Comfort's now at 52, 50 New Braunfels. Port SA 51, Stinson right now at 54. For the most part, low to mid 50s currently, but temperatures are going to fall off quickly this evening. So have a jacket ready if you're venturing outside. This is what we're expecting by tomorrow morning. About 28 in Helotes, Bulverde, Bernie 24, 27 New Braunfels, along with Hondo, Rio Medina about 24 degrees. So we'll briefly dip down into the 20s tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon, we're back to 53 degrees with some increasing clouds. Sunday, just a gray day, not much of a breeze, but we're not going to see any precipitation. It's not going to be overly cold either, 52, but the rain chance we're looking at is Monday, and then Tuesday back to 60 degrees.
We need the rain.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Now we're going to head on over to the AT&T Center where our friend Greg Simmons is live. And Greg, apparently there is some reunion going on tonight with the Spurs. Tell us about that.
It is a big reunion night because Patty Mills, who endeared himself so much, not just to the Spurs family, but to the community, especially during the COVID crisis, is returning as a member of the Brooklyn Nets. But he's not the only one. We'll explain when we come back, including LaMarcus Aldridge coming up. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome live to the AT&T Center, where it is a big night. Tonight marks the return of one of the most popular players in Spurs history. Patty Mills is a Spurs play host of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, Patty is the last remaining member of the 2014 championship team before he signed with the Nets this offseason. But before his departure, had endeared himself to Spurs fans for his passion for the game and his teammates. But he took that to a whole new level for what he did for San Antonio business community during the COVID-19 pandemic. This all happened in the middle of the Summer Olympics, just before Australia faced the United States.
I was able to, chat with Pop and, exchange a few words. And at the end of the day, it was very emotional. It was a career-changing decision. And now that it's been made, and just very glad of the opportunities that I had here in San Antonio to not only through basketball, but off the court, more importantly, and being able to do a lot of growing up here and a lot of adulting, I guess, and a lot of the values that I learned from being here off the court, I think I've really appreciated.
Because of the circumstances playing in the Olympics in Tokyo and conversing with his agent, Patty tells us he made his decision to move on to the Nets at 4 a.m. Tokyo time and had to text Pop his decision, unable to do it face-to-face due to all the COVID restrictions during the Summer Games. But after playing the United States and eventually winning the bronze medal, there was one special moment Patty will never forget at the medal ceremony.
As we're walking out of the tunnel, I notice, some hands reaching out, because the stadium's been empty for so long, and someone's hands are reaching out as fans do, And sure enough, I look up and it's Pop. That was, so I went over to Pop and that embrace then, and then after we had our medal I'll forever remember that moment, because it was, as I said, a lot of variables and a lot of emotions had gone into it. So, that embrace was special.
That is awesome. The newest member of the Spurs, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, will be in uniform tonight. And they'll actually have two tributes tonight, one for, of course, Patty Mills, the other for LaMarcus Aldridge, who's gotten over his heart health issues and is back with the Brooklyn Nets. Live from the AT&T Center, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
The two guys who gave their all for the Spurs.
Sure did, didn't
they? Yeah. Thank you, Greg.
And we'll be right back after this.